Ladies and gents, hello and welcome. This is Factory Town. I'm Orbiter Potato, and this is a brand new game that is very like Factorio in the way that it plays. It's a process game. It's a strategy, simulation, city building game that is all about managing processes and building up mechanical processes from one operation to another operation. It's really good. It doesn't sound like it should really make sense, but it does, and it pulls it off spectacularly. We're going to jump into a brand new game here. I've done the tutorial. I know how to play, and hopefully I will be able to impart my worldly knowledge onto you about how the game works. Okay, so this is the starting area that we've got access to. This is our base. This is the hub of all the operations that we will be conducting over the next wee while. Up in the top left-hand corner, you can see the number of workers, each represented by one of these fine fellas. As you can see, I'm dragging a little route for him. The game is currently paused at the second, so if I left-click and tell him where to go, it's not going to do anything. But the point is that there are a whole bunch of elements in the world, and these little dudes can interact with all of them, really. So you've got trees, you've got grain, you've got herbs, you've got iron ore, you've got coal, you've got stone, you've got water, which isn't highlighted by anything, but you've got water. And all of these different resources you can collect and you can turn into other resources. That's kind of how the game works. Up in the top left-hand corner, we've also got houses, or the houses built, and then our capacity. At the moment, we don't have any houses. You get 4 workers, you know, with your base as default. But the only way to increase your capacity past that is by building houses. And we can do that by heading down to the build menu, going into the buildings, and here is a list of the available buildings which we are hopefully going to branch out and take advantage of over the course of this series. The house is the most basic unit, and it literally just gives you the capacity to build a couple of extra dudes. Now, of course, in order to build this house, we need to collect a certain number of resources, and the resource that we need to collect for houses is wood. And as you can see, it tells you the process there. It says harvested from trees. It's pretty much it. You can also produce. They can also be produced by a forester, but we'll sort of get to these slightly more advanced mechanics as we go. But for now, all you need to know: produced by wood. We need to get wood. We're going to try and collect wood. That's got to be sort of the number 1 priority, I guess. Anyway, up here is happiness. Happiness is produced by houses. We'll talk a little bit about that. In fact, why don't we go and set up a house? So what we can do is we can left click, and this will tell the wee manny to go and or lady to go and chop down the tree and get to work. So let's tell him to do that. And he will just take the wood to the nearest storage. Now that, of course, is this base. What we can also do is we can actually specify exactly where it needs to be brung. So, for example, this wood, I can say, needs to be brung out here. I mean, we obviously don't want to do that, because I'm going to get it sent to the base. So at the bottom of the screen there, you can see bring wood to base level 1. And that is really the sort of heart of this game. That's the sort of core mechanic. It's about setting up these processes. That allow you to take resources from one location to another location, and you get it all automated, you get it all operational, you get it all working flawlessly and smoothly. And that's really what you want to try and do. Okay, so we've got the capacity to build houses. We've got a little hotbar down here for the most used things. I think that's probably a fairly good thing. Let's get some houses over here. We don't really want to contain ourselves too much. I'm going to queue up a couple of houses. There, sure. And another one. And that will be fine. Okay, so each house increases our worker limit by 2, so we can now place down some extra workers. And let's go ahead and do that. Let's just walk through the idea of placing workers. All right, so as you can see, we can buy workers, and they will actually cost us 10 yellow coins. and they will give us 1 extra population, which is kind of nice. Now, yellow coins, red coins, blue coins, and purple coins can all be earned by selling goods to houses. So, here's where things get really, really interesting. Let's place down a couple of extra workers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure, 4. We'll leave it at 4 workers for now. I think that's probably fairly reasonable. So, what we need to do in order to get these yellow coins coming in, we need to set these workers up with operations, and we need to get them to bring grain to houses. So I'm just going to set up 1 worker at the moment to bring 1 unit of grain to all of these different houses. Chop to it, chaps. And in the meantime, we're also going to go and build a footpath, because footpaths basically increase the movement speed of all of the workers that run up and down them. So I think that would probably be pretty darn good to do. Okay, there we go. We can see that already we can see that these houses are generating cash. They're buying wheat. They're being delivered wheat by the workers, and they're effectively giving me money because of it. They're also giving me happiness. So as you can see now, I have +3 happiness, which is great. If I hover over the building, you can see how much happiness each of these buildings is generating. So it's pretty darn good. It's pretty darn swell, I would say. So that's pretty much the game. The game involves setting up processes and building houses, increasing worker population, etc., etc., etc. What I am going to do is build a lumber mill. That's the next thing on the agenda. We need to get 5 stone. So in order to do that, we should probably set up some stone harvesting chap. That's water over there, but that's a stone deposit, but we're not going to be able to access that for a wee while. So, let's get a stone route up and running. It's going to be a bit of a long-range one. I think we probably should set up a footpath. Footpaths do cost logs to build, but are absolutely worth it. They're super valuable. There we go. Okay, so look at the increase in his movement speed there. That's really, really worth it from my perspective. Really, really worth it. We could probably devote some of these guys that are currently harvesting the wood. We could probably devote them to harvesting some stone over there. In fact, yeah, that's probably what we'll do. Let's set you up. So we'll just set up another route, or set up the same route. They can only do one thing at a time. And so now they should all be working rather in tandem. But the cool thing about the buildings that we unlock as we go on is that they affect multiple other different buildings. So, for example, the building that we're going to unlock very, very shortly indeed, the food market, I know for a fact it will allow us, rather than having, 3 workers transporting individual grain to these houses, the food market basically is a focal point for houses, and workers can just deliver grain to the food market, and therefore the houses can buy the grain from the food market rather than having it delivered right to their door. So it basically means that over time we can refine and change the processes that we've got set up, and man, I just love that. I really, really like process games, and this one is no different. So the lumber mill will allow us to, hopefully, and I want to rotate you and maybe stick that right about, let's stick it like here. Sure. Okay, perfect. So the lumber mill has been built. We've unlocked a couple of new buildings. We've unlocked a crate. We've unlocked a grain mill. We've unlocked a workshop. We've unlocked chutes, scaffold ramps, scaffold blocks, wood arches, wood bridge, wood pier scaffold, and wood bench. All right, interesting indeed. And on another interesting note, the lumber mill is actually the first building that we have that turns one resource into another resource. So, much to your surprise, I'm sure, the lumber mill turns wood into planks and takes a little bit of time. It also takes 1 population. We originally placed down 8 workers. Well, we got 4 from our base. We placed down 4, and the lumber mill actually, as a requirement, you need to devote 1 worker to it. So there's always 1 guy in here who's going to be working on this process. So, let's set this up. Sure, that seems completely fair. We need to try and get some planks produced. That's definitely something that I'm interested in doing. So I think what we should do is probably get you, and we should probably set up a little mission. And I'm also going to get you to do it, because I mean we've got a lot of wood in store at the moment, so we don't really need that much wood coming into the base. So there's no real rush. There's no real rush to get that done. We've not unlocked a food market yet. We need to get the base upgraded, and we'll talk a little bit about upgrades as we go. But it's pretty standard stuff, really, when it comes to upgrades. We can, we just need a list of all of these resources in order to get the base upgraded. We can also upgrade. We can also upgrade the houses, which is kind of nice. Increases the population capacity and speeds up goods consumption by 10%. Of course, the more goods that these houses are chowing through, the more money we're effectively getting access to. At the moment, we're not actually supplying enough. We're not actually supplying enough grain to each house in order to constantly take advantage of the consumption rate. Like if you have a look at this bar, you can see that it's not full all the time, or it's not constantly replenishing. Ideally, we'd get to a position where it was constantly replenishing. But that's, as I say, that's something to look forward to later. What I am actually going to do, which is also super fantastic, is I'm going to build a chute. Now, how much... Okay, we've actually managed to fill up the planks because... as you can see, this lumber mill has completed as many planks as it possibly can without being relieved of the planks. So I'm going to set you to take the planks to the base. Great. And therefore, we can free up the storage of the lumber mill, which is great. Good stuff. Great stuff, in fact. And actually, what I think we want to do is we want to try and get a workshop. Because a workshop is going to allow us to create wagons, which are really, really cool. And we'll talk a little bit about them in a little bit. But holy cow, wagons are dope. I love wagons. Yeah, so what are we going to be building next? Well, we've already got the lumber mill. We can maybe get the grain mill. We can maybe get a workshop. We could get a crate if we wanted to. But what I really want to do is I want to build a chute, because it's a perfect example of further process in this game, which is really, really good. So chutes cost one thingamabobber, one plank to build. And what they'll actually allow us to do, as the name says on the tin, let's do that. There we go. All right. Okay, so this is crazy. So this guy currently spends all of his time running between this tree and the lumber mill, right? Not anymore. Boom. Watch him. He's literally gonna put the log on the chute, and the chute is gonna automatically deliver the log to the lumber mill. That's such an incredible time saving that it's just fantastic. Look at that. He literally is not even moving at the moment. So that's a huge time saving that we're making there. Obviously now he has to move back because the tree is not finite. You can see in the top right hand corner that the tree has a limited number of resources. But the point is that we can actually be so much more efficient with our tree chopping operation down here, because he just doesn't have to run. He just doesn't have to run that far anymore, which is really, really fantastic. So that's good. Good on you there, buddy. What do we want to get built now? I think that we probably want to try and get a workshop or a grain mill. I think actually kind of building a workshop would be fantastic, because I really like wagons, and wagons are fantastic. But we need 10 planks in order to get that done. The problem is that I think that we're actually producing more planks than we can really deal with at the moment. So I think we need to invoke one of you guys. We need to get one of you guys, take the planks to here. So we're going to half our amount of stone being transported to the base, but that's not a problem. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Just going to deal with things like this. Something else that we can actually do is if we go to, where is it? Yes, a crate. So a crate my understanding is that a crate is literally just a sort of little storage object, and we can store stuff in it, and we'll, in fact, you know, we can talk a little bit about the benefits of doing that right now. Where was it? There we go, a crate. Okay, so we built a crate. So you, rather than transporting stone, you can just transport stone to the crate, okay? So this basically cuts down massively on his journey. So he's basically only going to have to take it to the crate. But then what's going to happen? How is the crate going to manage to get the resources from here to here? Ah, well, that's where wagons come in. And wagons, my friend, are the real deal in this video game. A workshop, I'm going to get a workshop up and running. I'm going to get a workshop kind of like there, I guess. Sure. Okay, beautiful. We got some new buildings as well. We got a barn, we got a stonemason, we got fence, half stairs, and we've got a wagon. And boy, oh boy, am I excited about a wagon. So, without further ado, let's get a wood wheel constructed. Okay, so Mr. Plank Transporter, I want you to take your planks directly to the workshop, please. I think we've still got yeah, we still got one plank transporter who's transporting planks from the lumber mill to the base, but I'm not super bothered about that at the moment. We've also still got one guy who is working hard to get the wood to the base, which is less necessary at the moment, but it doesn't particularly matter. Anyway, we're building some wagons, some wagon wheels, even some wood wheels, and that is going very, very nicely indeed. We're going to need to set... You know what? Let's get you. You are not really needed. We've got 160 wood in stock in the base. Let's get the wood transported to the base. That seems like a fairly good idea. Sorry, the wooden wheels to the base. Also, I've just realized I missed a tiny little bit of path there. Oh, every time I right-click, it ends up getting rid of it. My bad. Sorry about that, guys. I know that's a little bit of unoptimized pathing there. Not exactly ideal, but it is what it is. Anyway, as you can see, up in the top right-hand corner, we've got our inventory in the base. This is our shared inventory, and it's worth noting that even though it says that we've got 17 stone in stock, it's actually not true because we've got another 12 in the storage crate over there. So it's worth noting that storage crates don't take into account the shared inventory. The shared inventory can only be from items in the base, but also the barn, right? So the barn, which we could build, will also provide shared storage that players can use when placing buildings and workers. So basically, anything that shows up in the base will also show up in the storage barn. That's my understanding anyway. All right, you guys are doing good. Have we got 4 wheels? We've got, in fact, we've almost got 8 wooden wheels, which is fantastic, because it means that for the first time we can actually build a wagon. Unfortunately, we need an extra member of the population to be able to do that. So let's take this opportunity right now to buy a brand new house. We don't need to make them happy yet. That's fine. We'll deal with that in just a second. The point is that we can build a wagon. Let's build a wagon, a single wagon, just for now, because that's all we really need at the moment. But the point is that a wagon operates much like a person, but it's a wagon, and it takes more units. So you're gonna go from, that's a pretty inefficient path, but the point is that you take way more bits of stone. So this guy is gonna be taking 4 bits of stone between the crate and the base at every opportunity. You know what? We should put an extra little road in there. Even though it doesn't look the greatest, it still provides him with a pretty fantastic speed bonus, which I like. I like that a lot. Anyway, that's the wagon. That is the wagon. And I think that you can begin to see the start of what makes this game so enjoyable and so fantastic. It really is just absolutely amazing, and we're only gonna make more complex, more advanced processes as the game goes on. So yeah, I hope you'll I hope you'll enjoy the game, because I really have been thoroughly enjoying it. Let's try and get an upgrade to our base. We need to get slightly more happiness. Sure, let's get one of you guys to go and deliver grain. We don't actually need two of these guys delivering wood. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We've got a little bit of a backlog here. We've got two guys just sitting around. That's obviously not something that we ever really want to see happen. And you can see by the relatively large arrow sitting above the base that the upgrade is ready, and we can actually proceed with the upgrade. So, house max increased by 4, and the new building unlocked is the food market. Now, I'm very, very interested in the food market because, as I say, the food market distributes and sells food items automatically to nearby houses. And that's actually kind of like the... No, it's kind of like the general store. So the general store distributes and sells clothing, construction supplies, and other basic goods to nearby houses. So the thing that you got to bear in mind is that the food market and the general store are very, very similar indeed. There we go. Okay, let's stop making wooden wheels. I think we've got enough wooden wheels. We got 13. We got 14 stinking wooden wheels at the moment. Let's not worry about that producing any more wooden wheels. I think we're more than fine for wooden wheels at present. Okay. So we're doing good with stone. Stone production is going pretty darn good. We got 28 bits of stone that are on the go. It's also worth noting, by the way, that wagons can't actually harvest any resources. So we can tell them to, you know, walk up to a tree, but they wouldn't actually be able to do anything with it, which is why crates are so important for moving resources from place to place via wagon. Yeah, so that's something to consider. Okay, we're up to 9 planks. 9 planks, just a couple more planks and we will be golden. Beautiful. That's the plank that we're after. Okay, so food market. We now have the appropriate number of planks to do it justice. So, as you can see quite clearly by the outline, the green huge outline there. This is the area of effect that houses will be able to purchase. They will be able to purchase resources from. So I think what we probably want to do is we want to set it up like right about here. I'm just trying to think of the best operation. Yeah, like that. Okay, that's perfect. Let's get that in place just like so. And now, as you can see, we've got these 4 guys that are currently operating to deliver the grain to the houses. Well, I think what we need to do is we need to get these guys to deliver grain directly to the food market. There we go. So let's get these redrawn. So they should all now feed into the food market, which is very, very good. And as you can see, all of these houses are automatically buying the resources, which is really, really great. And we also managed to get the resources out much, much quicker. So you will start to see that the bar should theoretically speed up. We should be using more and more food. We should be consuming food as, you know, really as fast as it can come in. Maybe with a couple more guys, we'll be able to knock that up to like 100% production rate. But what we could do actually is we could upgrade the houses. Yeah, well, let's upgrade some houses. Sure. Well, we upgraded one house there, so that's fine. Yeah, nice. And actually, this provides a good point. You can see the different types of food that we can actually provide to these houses in order to get them to consume food. Now we can also get them to consume general goods, which, as I sort of hinted at, are produced in the general store. So we can get them to provide, or we can provide planks to the general store, or clothing, or tools, or gadgets, and anything like that. We can end up selling them, and we can sell them for bigger and better rewards, which is really, really important. I'm pretty sure that red coins, you can get red coins from selling the stuff from the general store to the individual houses. Either way, it's really, really cool. We've got a little bit of extra worker capacity, but I think we're going to be dealing with that in the next episode, because that's it for now, ladies and gents. Thank you very, very much for watching. My name, of course, has been Over the Potato. This has been Factory Town. It's a fantastic little game developed by a guy called Eric Asmussen. It's really, really cool. I'm super hyped about it. I hope you are too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.